Hey folks, John Henning here, and I wanted to record another little short video for you about another common question that I get from folks when I'm speaking with them about franchising. These are franchise professionals that I talk to all the time, and that question is, how many leads does it take to close a deal, John? Okay, and that's a tough one to answer unless you've collected a lot of information and you talk to a lot of people like I've done over the past 10 years. So when you talk about the number of leads, most of the time the reason folks are asking that question is because they're buying leads from someone. So let me cover that one. When you buy leads from a company, whether they're a lead generator or a lead reseller, the question that comes to me is, John, how many leads does it take to close a deal? And I've got some bad news for you. It takes a lot of leads to close a deal because of the quality of those leads. The short answer is it only takes one lead to close one deal. And we'll get to that in a minute. But the longer answer is, when you're buying leads from other companies and you're not generating them on your own, the reality is that the quality of those leads is much, much lower. And that's typically because most of the lead generation companies are remarketing to those leads. They generate the lead today, or they generated it 6 months ago, and then they remarket to that lead by sending it a series of emails over a period of time forever. Okay, they may get one email a week, one or two emails a month for the rest of the time that they're in that company's database. And every time that lead comes back into the system, it's considered a new lead, and it's pushed out to someone like yourself, okay, as a new lead. So they don't sell the lead multiple times, but companies will remarket to those leads in their database and then sell that lead to you. Okay, and what that does is it drives the quality, it dilutes the lead quality all the way down to where you can hardly get anybody on the phone. And the folks that you do get on the phone are typically not interested. They've already been bombarded. They've talked to multiple companies already. They may be talking to several franchise companies, maybe even talking to several franchise brokers at the same time. So you really have to look at this number as being one of the most important numbers in what we do, is how many leads does it take to close a deal? And we're going to reference this and use data from working with thousands of franchise leads each month over the past 6 to 7 years that I've been at this on the processing those leads for all the companies that we did a bunch of work with. Okay, and feedback from the clients, talking with people on a regular basis, daily, if not weekly, talking to many companies, probably 40 to 50 companies on a regular basis, upwards of 80 companies a month I would talk to about this particular topic. Getting feedback from them, matching that up with the data that I'm able to collect on my end of it. And the bottom line is, the news isn't good. It's going to take about 150 to 200 leads that you buy in order to close a deal. Okay. Now that's not bad as long as you understand how that happens with the remarketing and the fact that the lead really isn't yours. You're just renting it for a short period of time, a short window, and then you're going to work that lead and work it hard, and then somebody else is going to come in before you. Somebody else is going to come in after you. You've only got that lead for a short period of time. The problem is that a lot of those leads aren't going to respond because they've been bombarded, and we know that. So when you look at 1 out of 200 as a number, let me put that in perspective for you. That's 1/2 of 1% closing ratio. 1 out of 100 would be 1%. So even if you get 1 out of 100 leads as your closing ratio, you're still at a 1% close. There's not many industries out there that have that type of low close rate. Okay, look at almost any other industry out there. When they generate leads, their closing rate is typically much higher than that. Okay, the challenge here is that we've got a situation where franchise leads are worth a lot. And so the lead companies want to remarket to those leads so that they can sell them as a new lead when the lead comes back into that web page. Okay, so the short answer, 1 out of 200, 1/2 of 1% is the number that I hear on a consistent basis. And that's when you buy leads. When you generate your own leads and you control that lead, and that lead is only yours, unless they go back to the internet, of course, but if they're just working with you and you're talking with them through the process and you explain how the franchise due diligence process works, and you work with them on an ongoing basis and you stay in touch with them and you're consistent, and you follow up with them through phone, through email, through text, through video, through all these different media that are out there, and you stay in touch with that lead and you're working with that lead, you can reduce that number. And because you only need so many of those leads because you're generating them yourself. You see, when you have a lead that you've generated yourself, it's kind of like automatically churning through dozens and dozens of leads before you even get to that one, because you're generating them based on a specific set of criteria that is put together as part of your strategic marketing plan for your franchise leads. Okay. And when you do that, you start out with a much smaller circle as far as the target goes, then the quality is much, much higher. When you start out here buying bulk leads and you have to funnel them down and get down to this, of course you have to do a lot more work from here to here. But when you start here and you can take that lead through the process, of course your numbers are going to be lower when it comes to how many leads does it take to close a deal. So there's something for you to consider. How many leads does it take to close a deal? A lot less when you're generating the leads yourself.